Welcome back to week 2 of the 4th grade unit called Structure, Function, and Information Processing, and this is Unit 3. Last week I had you take a look at some cool videos called Pushing the Limits if you'd like to, and you also learned a little bit about animals and adaptations. This week what you're going to be doing is you're going to be learning specifically about the eye. I know that in our last unit we looked at the eye and the ear in kind of a general sense. I also know that a couple times we've looked at the different senses. Now we're going to look at actually how the eye processes information and what it looks like and create an actual diagram of that eye. The first thing that I want you to do is you're going to create a Google document titled The Eye, and this is where you're going to house your work for this week. The second thing is I want you to go to this website and read through the article. The article, as you can see, is not very long, but it's going to give you some diagrams and some images that'll help you understand a little bit more about the eye. After that, make sure, or I should say, while you're going through that, make sure you're thinking about some of the key parts of the eye and how the eye processes information, how it connects to our brain, and how our brain processes that. Then, the big assignment that you have this week is going to be create a hand-drawn diagram of the eye. And on that diagram, I want you to make sure that you include some key components. The first is going to be the cornea, the second is the pupil, the third is the retina, and the fourth is the iris. Make sure that you show the process by which light comes in the eye and how it reflects within the eye. This is a diagram that could look something like this, but remember I'm asking for a little bit more since I'm asking you to show me how the light works and where it's going. Make sure it's hand drawn because I don't want you to simply copy and paste a picture from the internet. After you complete that picture, make sure that you take a picture of it and place it onto that Google document. It's very important that you put it in there because you'll be answering some questions after that, and I would like it all as one assignment so that it's easy for your teacher to go through feedback. The couple of questions that I want you to answer: first of all, when light enters the eye, we see it as upside down. How do we change, or how does it change so that we see it right side up? And the second question is, why is it important that we do not stare at a computer screen all day? And this is going to be something that you'll find information online through that article, but I also want you to think about some of the things that you might have thought about or you have felt since you've been doing your work online. It is a lot for your eyes and for your mind to take, staring at a screen all day. It's good to take constant breaks for the sake of your eyesight. After you're done with your weekly learning, I want you to go into your literacy connection, and that's going to relate directly to what we did last week. Last week you should have chosen an animal that you're interested in, and this is where you're going to start your research on that animal. What you're going to be doing is creating a literacy review matrix, and with that you're going to be taking research and putting it into your matrix. The first thing I want you to do for this is create a Google document titled Animal Notes. This is where you're going to house this literature review matrix, but it's also where you're going to house pretty much all the notes that you're going to take for your paper. With that, you're going to create a 4x5 table, and it should look something like this. The directions very specifically are right here. But the first column will be where you put your citation, and make sure that you do that in EasyBib. If you need to remember how to do that, you can go to this tutorial and that'll show you how to use EasyBib. In the second column are going to be your key takeaways. So this is where you're going to take important information, not necessarily facts, but things that you think as you read through your articles and your research that are important about that animal. The third column is going to be the list of important facts. So this is where you're specifically taking facts about your animal that you think would be important for us to know. In the fourth column, I want you to add a question. So in that column, write a question that you still may have about your animal to extend your thinking, but that'll also help you because as you go forward, you might want those questions to be answered in your next research sections. After creating your matrix, I want you to begin the actual research on your animal. So find one website and one video that will help you. Remember, your paper will have to include the concept of what is adaptation, as well as how was the animal you chose evolved to survive, both physically and environmentally. And those things we are going to talk about throughout the rest of the unit. So a good place to start would be looking on Google, but also looking on someplace YouTube to see if you can find some great information about the animal that you chose.